All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Ha-Rakah Kodash. Double honors to our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone Well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa Abba Babal. So, pertaining to the uproars of people, all right, that's a prophecy in the Holy Scriptures as a sign of the end time judgment to be at hand. All right, as I put riots in the world, you can see, this is only 10 hours ago, and you have riots in the UK, right? British police, it says far-right protesters clash with British police 1 hour ago, which they're going after the so-called immigrants, right? So you got a race war. It says UK riots and other countries issues advisories over UK riots. All right? And that's riots in UK. All right, you got riots in Africa. Protesters ignore Nigerian president 1 day ago. At least 12 dead in South African minor protest. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 11 years old. Right here. Nigerian arrests tailors over Russian flags at protests 1 day ago, because Russia is building up these other nations that were weak, and now they're saying that they are strong. All right. It says UK riots, there's no hope to stay here at all. BBC Africa, 13 hours ago. Riots looting in South Africa after Jacob Zuma jailed. All right, so you got those. You got riots in Venezuela. Protests erupts in Venezuela following disputed election. You see? See? All right, these are riots in Israel 1 day ago. All right? Everything you need to know about Side Teeman riot in Israel. See? There's riots all over. And I put riots in Asia. And look what it pulls up. It says 2 days ago, Asian gangs looking to fight white people. 150 arrests.
To witness. There's no real suggestion that it's going to stop anytime soon. I mean, we're hearing there's a Cobra meeting going on today. Nigel Farage has called for the recall of Parliament, which you might say this is serious enough to do, isn't it?
No, I'd say so, Mike. These are the worst nationwide disorders that we've experienced as a country since the 2011 August riots.
Yeah.
So I think that Parliament being recalled, I think that's a solid suggestion. I think that needs to happen because this is very much a national crisis.
Yeah.
And Mike, a terrible week for England, more generally. And it started with those horrific child killings in Southport. And
just a week ago.
Just a week ago, and then the disorders flowing from that in various parts of the country really show that all is not well at all in modern England, and at times even maybe I've been. Comes to very sensitive matters of immigration, integration and identity.
Yes, but again, that piece in the Times talks about how the reason part of this resentment has built up over time by many people who consider themselves to be white working class is because none of these issues have been talked about. None of these problems have been discussed. None of these problems have even been named. He talks about...
And see, so you can see there's a race war in the earth, right? And it's going to spread pretty much throughout the whole earth, including America. All right, Matthew 24. And this is and the actual time is Yahushai is as the walking in the earth as the Messiah in the promised land, and the disciples at the time which became apostles, excluding Judas Iscariot. All right, so this is that time he's walking the earth as the Messiah. All right, and he's in Israel, in Jerusalem. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, which outside of that city, Jerusalem, there was hills, and he was sitting upon the hills looking into the city. It says, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Because he was prophesying the end of the Edomites ruling in that land. All right, because when he was there, it was the Greeks and the Romans being on top. All right, and then now you still have the counterfeits there today. The Amalekites, the counterfeits that claim to be us, the Israelites, which they claim to be a Jew and are not. All right, it says in verse 2, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? So he's talking about the temple in Jerusalem. Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Because at the end of the reign of the so-called Caucasian, the so-called white people, all right, the ones that are in the land of Israel, all right, are going to be burnt up with fire according to the Holy Scriptures, which the armies of the world are going to be gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which that valley, if you look on a terrain map, all right, here we go. This one here. So as you can see, the light brown, right, all the way down into Saudi Arabia, all the way up into Syria, which Israel is right there, which this is considered the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, it's between the green and the dark brown, and Saudi Arabia's peninsula. All right, so this is going to be all destroyed because it's going to be filled with armies of the world. Well, that includes that land, Israel. All right. See, and as you can see, Mount Olives is right here and right next to Jerusalem. All right. So he's looking into Jerusalem, prophesying, the destruction that's to come, which it hasn't been fulfilled yet. All right. There you go. See, Jerusalem's right there, and he's pretty much on another mountain. All right, a ridge. All right, of the Mount of Olives, looking over. Okay. And he's pretty much saying that everything's going to be destroyed there. All right. As it says at the bottom of 2, Yahushua says that it says, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Talking about the age of the so-called white race, the wicked, ruling over the world. It says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many, which there's many false prophets right now. Especially when you go onto these social medias, you got even women claiming to be prophets. All right? Which the prophetess in the Bible, they were actually married to one man. You know? They were virtuous women. All right? So, but you got these women that abort their babies. They have different men, you know, every night. Even if they're just talking to them, they're still, you know, in these relationships with these men. And then they're claiming to be prophets. All right? So you have false prophets deceiving many. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Here you go. I put wars. 2 days ago, Foreign Affairs, America isn't ready for the wars of the future. And that's how you know that the wicked are ruling and not the righteous Israelites. All right, because it says when the righteous Israelites are put in power by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, there'll be peace on earth. So how is there still talk of wars of the future unless the Edomite, the wicked, is ruling? It says one of the fastest ways to end Sudan's civil war is to stop the UAEs, which Esau is leading that, the so-called white race. All right, you got the Arabs, but they're in bed with who? They're united to who? The Edomite, the so-called Caucasian. It says here news about Israel war. See, Israel in war. How is that possible unless these are counterfeit? Right? They're not the true people of the Bible. They're counterfeits. Look, as Iran braces for war, its citizens are kept in the dark. As war looms and flights dwindle, Lebanese grapple, you know, they're dealing with some issues. Why? Because it's a time of war. They're lacking comforts. They're lacking opportunities. They're lacking peace because this devil, the so-called white man, all right, he's ruling the world and he takes peace from the earth with his sword. That's his blessing. He's the red devil the Bible speaks of. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, reports. That's why I went to the news on Google to show the reports of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet, because there's still some prophecy that has to come to pass. All right, the major prophecy being that implantable microchip becoming mandatory worldwide for buying and selling for, you know, all kinds of different uses in this wicked society, which is near. All right, so here the digital dollar, and here in Reuters it says Powell says Fed not remotely close to a central bank digital dollar, and this was published May 7th, 2024. Now let me jump down. It says in February 15, 2024, in Ledger Insights, Fed's Powell, which is that man, confirms U.S. stablecoin legislation is close. See, this is a hypocritical nation, the so-called white race. They're fork-tongued devils, and as you can see, he's red. His shirt in that image, and he has a white shirt on, a suit, you know, a dark suit with a white shirt, and you can see his skin is red, because they are the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right, it says in verse 7, Yahushua says, for nation shall rise against nation, a race war. That's what you're witnessing, race wars, which they're going to be here in America when these Americans are acting out just like their cousins, the British. right? And because America came out of the head, out of Britain, so they're closely related, and you're going to get the same thing happening here, where they're actually causing sedition, all right, which the cities are going to be troubled because of the pride of the elite of the so-called white race. It says, and kingdom against kingdom, which you're pretty much in world war, and there shall be famines, right, which there is famines. There's going to be shortages. Here you go, famines, right, in Sudan's catastrophe, food runs out as guns flow freely. And who's funding this? The so-called white race. It says, opinion, I said the era of famines might be ending. I was wrong. And that was in 2024. Why? Because famines are going to increase. All right? Famines are going to increase so bad that even these Americans, they've never even thought of famine even ever being in the shores or in the land of America. With that pride these dumbasses have. And they're about to be like these South Sudan Hamites. These Ethiopians are starving and shit. Alright? Because the Lord is going to give a reward to America. Because America is pretty much funding all this war around the world, causing famine while it eats fat. It says Sudan faces famine risk in 14 areas, Global Hunger Monitor says. And who runs the UN, which the UN is supposed to be peacekeepers, right? They're supposed to have this military might to go in and help these people dig wells and, have food storages, right? But instead, the so-called white man, he takes peace from the earth with his sword, right? See, it says right here, this is Wikipedia.org. By the turn of the 21st century, Sudan's western Darfur region had endured prolonged instability and social strife due to a combination of racial and ethnic tensions and disputes over land and water. And as you can see this picture, whose face is right in the middle. It says the U.S. and the Sudan conflict motives and ability to influence events. Motives and ability to influence events. So it's telling you right there. This is the Arab Center for Research. Right? So who's controlling this famine that's going on in Sudan? The U.S. It tells you right here. The U.S. and the Sudan conflict. Motives and abilities to influence events. So that's why the Americans are going to get so hungry they eat their own babies. Because you've done it to others. So as they say, what goes around comes around in the world. Well, that's judgment. That's what we're witnessing. It's time for judgment. It says, Salaki, my phone jumped without my permission. It says in verse 7, Yahushua says, famines and pestilences, which I'm in Colorado. Colorado is a #1 spot for, I believe, is the bird flu and listeria. All right, so you got all these different diseases that are brought on by what is pests, meaning an animal, and earthquakes. in diverse places. Let me pull that up. All right, I googled earthquakes today. Right, it says 10:09 p.m. California. So they're 2 hours behind us, I believe it is. Now, no, 1 hour. So it just happened. You know, California, Bakersfield. Which, look, they're saying there was two of them. One an M5 and an M4. Right? Then an M4.6. And then this is Tonga. M5. Chile. I'm sorry. Cintalapa, Mexico. That was a 5.4. Was that South Sandwich Islands, M5. Liberia, M5. Philippines, M6. Philippines, M5. Philippines, M5.3. Philippines, M6. And this is just what they report. If I do in the United States, you see, California just had one today. Is it today? Nope, yesterday. So let's see, today. August 7th. Yeah. So they're still getting earthquakes there, see? August 7th, 8:09. So they're 2 hours or an hour behind us. I'm in Colorado, so they're getting earthquakes right now as we speak. All right? So we're in the last days of this so-called white man, the red devil ruling. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. Let me jump to Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, the so-called white man, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. See? So this devil is going to come down on them that fear the Lord with great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time. It says in Matthew 24, verse 8, so all these signs that I just showed you happening in our present time, it says all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations because of my name's sake. Which we see that being building up, where they're going to want to persecute the saints, whether it's through the social media, whether it's them, saying that what we're doing is hate speech, whatever it is they're going to do, they're going to say it's because of us preaching the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, they're going to cover that hate with false accusations, right, to try to hide their motives, because their motives are false, but they're going to use lies to try to hinder the prophets, but it's not going to work. It's in fact just going to fulfill prophecy. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And that's what's coming, to the point where the Lord's going to have these devils kill each other. In Revelation 17, it says in verse 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, which it's talking about the European Union, all right, and its military might, which is going to use its power in bed with Russia to destroy America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had put in their hearts, so he's putting it in their minds, to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of powers shall be fulfilled. Which, a good example of this is the UK. The UK is one of the heads of the beast, right? You got America, the whore that rides the beast, and then you got the 7 heads. You got Spain, France, Britain, Germany, minor, Germany, major, Greece, and Rome, right? So UK is one of the heads, and you see the state of the UK, right? And they're blaming America for this, all right? That's who they're blaming. They're blaming America because everyone's depending on America's economy to pretty much hold the world up, because the US dollar is pretty much the money that everybody's going after. But soon this dollar is going to be no good, and it's going to become very violent. All right, you can see you can see the tension in the air. It says in 2 Ezra 8, which this is Ezra, he's in Babylon, and an angel is with him, and he's having a vision of these last days. It says in 2 Ezra 8, verse 61, and therefore is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not showed unto all men, but unto thee and a few like thee, which he had a few men helping him write these prophecies down. Then answered I and said, Behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou wilt begin to do in the last times. So he got so many, visions and information to this angel, all right, because he was an Israelite. Ezra was an Israelite in Babylon, and the Lord always kept a remnant, all right? And so this remnant at that time, starting with Ezra, he was being given this vision for the last days, which we're in those last times. We're in the last days of the so-called white race ruling. It says, but at what time thou hast not showed me? So he told him, these are the signs of the end, of the judgment to come, which I just showed you the Messiah was speaking on him. But watch, it says in 2 Ezra 9, he answered me, the angel answered me then, and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I showed you, all the signs are happening, which I have told thee before through prophecy, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest, Yahweh, is going to send his son, Yahushai, will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which I just showed you, excuse me, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And that's what's happening. The end of the so-called white man's age, the end of his ruling capacity, right? We're coming to the end of it. So this is why his kingdom is crumbling with decay, corruption. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye believed shall be preserved from the said perils, which those are plagues that are coming upon the world, and shall see my salvation in my land, and within my borders, for I have sacrificed them for me from the beginning. All right, so it's a guarantee that all these prophecies are going to happen, and we're going to return to our land, and we're going to thank the Lord. We're going to praise the Lord because he delivered us just as he has promised. He has not broken his word. His word is faithful and true. And this is the title of his son. Because his son is the one that's going to come in the glory of his Father and judge this world and destroy the wicked and them that do wickedly. So all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, B'Shem HaRakakwadash, the Holy Spirit. Wa and Shalom to the hopeful elect. May you endure. Wa Abba Babal.